Welcome back. Now, sugar stocks have been in focus after the government removed the cap on sugar diversion for ethanol production for the ethanol supply year 2024-2025, which begins on 1st of November. In addition to cane juice and syrup, mills can also use B-heavy and C-heavy molasses to produce ethanol. All this is a part of the central government's strategy to boost renewable energy and reduce the reliance on fossil fuels. Separately, the government also permitted the sale of up to 2.3 million tons of rice from Food Corporation of India. To discuss more on this, we have with us Tarun Sawhney, the Vice Chairman and MD at Triveni Engineering and Industries. Tarun, thank you very much for joining in. How do you read these two notifications? Because you have both sugar and grain-based distilleries. So what is the impact of the first notification on sugar and the second one from grain-based?
Good morning. I think, I speak on behalf of the entire industry in saying that this is a welcome move. It really reaffirms the central government's initiative to boost renewable energy and to focus on energy security, frankly speaking, as far as the transportation sector is concerned. Now, as far as the first item of allowing B-heavy molasses and juice in abundance, I think that will allow the entire sugar sector to divert all the excess quantums of sugar in the upcoming season towards the ethanol program. And so we're going to see a huge quantum, potentially 60% of the total requirement coming from the sugar sector. And I think that is a return to normal. That's the long-term expectation as well, in my mind, from the sugar sector for the ethanol blending program. The second, of course, recognizes the fact that we do have significant quantums of food grain, especially rice, that are available and with the FCI. And a move to actually allow 2.3 million tons to be diverted for the production of biofuel, again, a very welcome move. And I think it signals the fact that longer term availability of rice could potentially happen in the future. And that's a very welcome move.
So Tarun, you've spoken about the industry, right? What about for your company in particular, Praj Industries? Have you assessed the impact?
For Triveni, I have assessed the impact. It is extremely positive with respect to both these moves. So I think that for next year, we can certainly see a larger quantum of ethanol that is manufactured from B-heavy molasses and from the sugar sector per se. Grain, of course, will play a significant role. It will be focused primarily on maize. But I think that this quantum of rice, I would say about 50% of our grain requirement will come from rice as it's allocated from us. Again, it means that higher realizations, or rather higher contribution levels from both these input streams, from the juice side as well as from the grain side.
Sorry, I apologize. I didn't mean Triveni. It was just a slip of my tongue when I wanted to get your thoughts on the impact.
Mr. Sawhney, just Vivek here as well. Just wanted your sense. A couple of analysts have actually pointed out, for grain ethanol manufacturers like you, initially there may not be so much of a boost coming in, especially from the rice piece of the news. What is your sense? And the second question is, how are you now projecting revenues, for FY25 after this particular move? What were you working with initially, and will you be revising any, top-line guidance for us?
So I think you've asked a very important question. I think the move towards impacting the bottom line will be slow and gradual, but it's certainly a positive move. Now, as I had mentioned, maize forms the largest segment of the amount of grain that we procure. And maize prices, while they have, or rather the ethanol price from maize, while it has increased, that entire increase has been captured by the trade. So it's really not the industry that is able to expand its contribution levels. With the introduction of rice, I see that contribution level will increase because it is at a fixed price, even though the price of ethanol manufactured from FCI rice is lower, the margin levels are certainly higher. I also see that this is signaling to me a new change. And I think when we see the new pricing levels for ethanol from all the various constituents that will be announced before the start of the next supply year, the government will look at the margin for producers. So I see margin expansion very much on the cards as we move into the next ethanol supply year. A big and definitive change from the previous year, or the year that will end, the supply year that will end at the end of October.
Tarun, have you heard anything about a possible hike in ethanol prices?
Well, the hope, of course, is that there will be an increase in ethanol prices. The industry, all the various bodies that liaise with the central government have requested a steep revision in prices so that it boosts investment. I mean, as you know, the target for ethanol blending for this year was 15%. And we're looking at the Honorable Prime Minister's target of 20% in just a year from now. For 25-26, the target is 20%. And for us to bridge that gap, there needs to be further investment in capacity building across the nation. And for that, the most important indicator will be an increase in the 24-25 supply year's ethanol price. And I do think that that is a possibility. The quantum, of course, is still being hotly debated. But I expect that over the next 6 to 8 weeks, we will have some very positive news from the central government.
Mr. Sawhney, just moving on, we understand that the IMFL business, of yours commenced operations in July 2024 under the premium category. Most alcohol companies have said that this is the particular segment that's actually witnessing growth. So what's the growth outlook here? What is it that you're targeting, and what are your plans to scale it up?
Right. So this is it's a new segment for us. We've launched two fantastic brands, Crafter's Stamp and Matsya, in the premium segment for sale in Uttar Pradesh only. Uttar Pradesh, of course, being a huge state for consumption of premium branded whiskey. In terms of numbers, it's too early to really report, but the growth in the premium segment within Uttar Pradesh has been absolutely outstanding as customers migrate to better quality products, and the infrastructure within the state actually has really remarkably realigned itself for sales in the premium segment. And I think that Uttar Pradesh will be a real trendsetter, actually, when we look towards the better quality products as far as IMFL is concerned. And we're very happy to be part and parcel of this important segment.
We'll leave the discussion here. Thank you very much for joining in. Some statements coming in from the